Outdoors Delmarva covers everything outdoors,
including real hunting and fishing situations involving wildlife.
We do our best each and every week to keep it tasteful, but discretion is advised.
Now, enjoy the show. This week on Outdoors Delmarva,
we don't see a single feather. It's been a good morning.
We're heading out on the river and into the duck blind. Join us for this mid-shore shooter's delight.
You don't have to be a hunter to enjoy wildlife this time of year. I'm Mike Parker at the Salisbury Zoo, where we'll take a winter tour. Then, how hundreds of local folks are welcoming in the new year with a dip into the Atlantic.
Plus, from bright red birds to red foxes, we've got a whole new pile of your viewer photos to sift through. Right now on Outdoors Delmarva.
I got him. Hi everybody, and thanks for watching Outdoors Delmarva. I'm Mike Parker.
And I'm Captain Willie Knight, and we're here doing one of those things we love the most, a good old Dorchester County duck hunt.
Yeah, spending some time here out in the field, right along the beautiful Little Chop Tank River on a property owned by our friend Dave Seacott and family. We've been hanging out in the blind since dawn, and boy, I'll tell you what, I think it's been a pretty productive morning.
It has that. We got a little bit of everything to offer here on the Little Chop Tank. We got a goose, we got a couple of bluebills and a canvasback, and it's been just about a perfect day so far.
Take a look. Now you can't really put into words the beauty of a pre-dawn boat ride through a chopped up icy river path, but we're always willing to try. What do you say, Willie? Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, this is about a perfect morning so far. We don't see a single feather. It's been a good morning.
In just minutes, Willie, Dave Seacott, and myself are settled up into a well-hidden blind overlooking a thick set of decoys made up of ducks, geese, and swans, scattered out just right. And they must have been, because just minutes after shooting time, Willie already has a bird in the bag when a sneaky Canada goose approached the spread. Unfortunately, a little too quick for the camera.
Oh yeah, that was blind luck, but I'll take it.
After a little bit of first light luck, it's really time to settle in. And for this shoot, you might notice something a little funny looking on Mike's head. That's our GoPro camera, designed to give you a first-person look at everything he's seeing. Pretty neat trick.
This spot is really looking like it's going to produce. Surrounded by salt marsh and tidal ponds, this riverside is filled with activity above, with geese and ducks moving every few minutes. All we've got to do is wait for the right moment.
And before long, we've got our opportunity. Between our camera on top of the blind and Mike's head cam, you're about to see a flock of bluebills come swirling in from left to right. The first pass is close, but not close enough. But patience pays off. When Dave calls the shot, we pop up out of the blind shooting.
Well, that's what I love to shoot out here is the bluebills and the cans. When they come up the river like that, usually they'll give you one pass first, looking at the decoys and swing out. When they bang back the second time, they're coming in, and you just get ready because everything's getting ready to break loose fast because they're buzzing in here all different directions, and they break both sides of the blind in the wind, and you just try and get on one as best you can.
There's so many you didn't know which one to pick out, and looks like we each got one out of the bunch, and of course. The dog Evie went out and did her job. It was a real classic duck shootout.
What's the matter, fellow?
Now this high adrenaline encounter is what keeps waterfowlers waking up early this time of year. And it's pretty typical to always want to improve shooting and your technique and wondering, what if?
The only regret is I took the one on the farthest end of the right, so by the time I knocked that first one down, the others were pretty far off. You always wish you'd do something a little bit different, but hey, at least the gun went off this time.
But for every minute spent waiting or wondering, 100 more will be spent remembering the moment. Whew. And And for a hunter, time in the field is time well spent.
Well, what do you say, Willie? I think the evidence kind of speaks for itself, but we had a pretty good morning.
We had a good morning, and we killed some ducks too, right on top of it. It was a beautiful morning. Got a couple of bluebills, a canvasback, and a big old Canada goose.
Nice goose that you took right the first thing in the morning there. We real nice shot. And tell you what, we can't thank our friend Dave Seacott enough for inviting us out, and we'll be right back. Coming up next on Outdoors Delmarva, it's a tradition to welcome in the new year. Take an icy dip into the Atlantic with hundreds of brave swimmers.
But first, did you know? With its green feathered head, the mallard drake may be the most recognizable duck in the United States. What was the age of the oldest wild mallard ever recorded? The answer when we come back.
Outdoors Delmarva is sponsored by Shooter's Choice and Shorts Marine. Outdoors Delmarva will be right back, faster than you can reload your 12 gauge.
Had fun today. Huh? Had fun today.
Did you know? The oldest mallard ever banded and recorded in the wild lived to be 26 years, 4 months old. But the average lifespan of a wild mallard is just 5 to 8 years. You don't normally think of the dead of winter as being the prime time for hitting the local beaches. But for hundreds of swimmers, a good cause was enough to bring out the daredevil in them, as well as plenty of goosebumps.
Hey, welcome to today's Penguin Swim. Got elevators on the left and right, take you up to the second floor to sign in. We swim at 1.
The date, January 1st, 2011. The place, the Princess Royale Hotel in Ocean City, Maryland, where a trip to the second floor reveals what could possibly be the Mid-Atlantic's largest asylum for the temporarily insane. Here, the inhabitants are well met, well mannered, well insulated, and well documented, for surely a plunge into the icy Atlantic this time of year is a one-way ticket.
It's a fundraiser for Atlantic General Hospital to expand their services, for example, like our diabetes center.
It's a great cause, and plus it's one of those self-esteem things. It's like you just gotta do it. It's like on your bucket list.
We strip down to our bathing suit and off we go, man, and you just better not be in our way.
We expect over 600 swimmers today, not including the viewers are just coming out to watch.
Oh, fun. Gotta start early, look good for the girls.
What makes you want to come out here and do this?
I mean, it's all for the hospital. I'll do anything for them.
I'm security.
If you believe that, I've got a bridge I'd like to show you.
Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm taking one for the team here. I'm gonna show people what it looks like to actually run into the water. As you can see, I got my Outdoors Delmarva shirt. And if you look down, I got my inconspicuous shorts here. And I think the appropriate headgear for this thing, I gotta be a bit of a fool to do this. All right, get me off this piece. Get me out of here, get me out of here. No, Mommy! Mommy! All right, now I'm doing it.
Just a reminder, if you're a kid and you'd like to go first so you don't get trampled on, come on over here to the south side. You guys get to go first. Or if you're a really short adult.
The kids can barely contain themselves, and soon it's every short adult for themselves.
This one time. It's a little on the cool side. It's like somebody hitting your head with a rock.
You ever done this before?
No, I've never done it before. First time. I did this before in Alaska. I lied. I did it for survival training, not for fun. One too many beers last night.
And true to his word, Chuck's going to show us a crazy person's perspective with help from our underwater GoPro camera.
Two words, major shrinkage. I'm talking about the shirt. Get outdoors, Delmarva.
If that video gave you a case of the shivers, maybe this will warm you up. The 2011 Penguin Swim raised more than $80,000 for the Atlantic General Hospital.
Coming up next on Outdoors Delmarva, we'll take a winter tour of the Salisbury Zoo. Plus, we'll spend time with an old friend. You won't want to miss this week's Scorchy's Corner Classic.
Scorchy's Corner Classics are sponsored by TARS Marine Insurance.
Thanks for watching Outdoors Delmarva. I'm Mike Parker. Well, certainly there's some late season deer and waterfowl seasons happening across the area, and that's well and good for the hunters. But if you're just interested in getting out there and viewing some wildlife, well, there's really no better place than right here in our own backyard in Wicomico County, talking about the Salisbury Zoo. And with a little bit of snow on the ground, I'll tell you what, the magic really comes out in some of these animals displaying some very natural behaviors.
This is a rhea coming over to check us out and see what we're doing. The rheas, we give them extra hay beds when it's going to be snowy. We'll fluff up hay and give them extra hay to nestle down in. But they actually do quite well in the cold weather. They're always curious. Now they're one that, to escape the cold weather, they go down underground where the temperature is a little bit more constant. And they'll take their food down there and have a cache of food underground and come up when the weather's right. The wolves get a little bit thicker fur coat, much like your dog may that you would have at home. So the animals all have some way of helping them adjust to the cold temperatures. It's an Andean bear. They come from a wide variety of habitats in South America. You can find them down in lowland forests, you know, the Amazon type forest, as well as way up in the Andes Mountains. So they're as a species, they're accustomed to a fairly wide range of temperature variation. Everybody loves the otters. Such playful animals, comical animals. They sure do seem like they enjoy life, don't they?
Well, you can see some of that beautiful winter backdrop here on the show, or you can come out and see it for yourself. The Salisbury Zoo is open daily this winter from 9 to 4:30. Come on and check it out. And Willie will send it back to you in the cabin.
Whenever I fly Chopper 16 over rural sections of Delaware, hardly a day goes by that I don't see at least a few wild turkeys roaming the fields. It's hard to believe that just 17 years ago, hardly any of these big birds existed in most parts. But it's a real success story, and the start of it all is in this week's Scorchy's Corner Classic.
Reintroducing wild turkeys into the wilds of the state of Delaware began in earnest this week with the arrival of 2 separate shipments of 21 wild birds that were trapped in Vermont and New Jersey. The Milford Neck area of Kent County was the site of the second release on Tuesday. We were there in the company of Delaware Natural Resources officials who wasted little time introducing the birds to their new home. Today's release was a momentous occasion for wildlife officials who have worked quietly behind the scenes for several months to get the wild turkey repopulation program to this point.
Well, we've really been working actively since last September when we met with other states at the Northeast Wild Turkey Study Group and together came up with a cooperative program to try to get some turkeys in Delaware. Delaware was sort of a black spot in turkey management because every other state in our region had wild turkeys except for Delaware. So they were all very cooperative in helping us get started.
Today, wild turkeys are thriving better in their natural habitat than at any other time in this century.
Scorchy Toes wandering our Delmarva land for WBOC News.
Still ahead on Outdoors Delmarva. Hunting may be a sportsman's delight, but in nature, it's a matter of survival. We'll see these primal practices through a photographer's lens.
Don't go anywhere. Outdoors Delmarva will be right back.
Thanks for watching Outdoors Delmarva. I'm Captain Willie Dykes.
And I'm Mike Parker. Well, Willie, we've been doing a little bit of hunting together lately, and I'll tell you what, these winter waterfowl hunts can get kind of addictive, especially if you got a lot of action early out there on the water.
That's right, Mike. But you know, the things we do for fun are a matter of survival for our neighbors in the animal kingdom. And photographer Kevin Fleming has more on the hunting and feeding habits of local wildlife in this week's Wild Delmarva.
Photographing feeding animals can be a little gruesome sometimes. Predators go after prey, but it's great photography. If you're a wildlife photographer, it's the best that you can do. Black skimmers are really one of the most unusual feeders here on the peninsula. They make their living by dragging their lower bill through the water and catching shrimp and fish. They tend to skim pretty much in the same places time after time. They'll swing around and come right back, and it's a good day when you can find them feeding. This is down at Assateague Island. I knew that there'd be some action there because in the springtime, the males bring fish to the females, and whoever's the best provider gets picked as the mate. Took this picture within 3 minutes of being there. It just happened so quickly, and pretty nice shot. This morning I had 13 great blue herons in front of me. Usually herons keep their distance from other herons, but with so many in a tight spot at Bombay Hook, it was a pretty action-packed morning. This one caught a white perch, and the other one went after it. Pretty nice photograph. I'm happy to have used this on the cover of Wild Delmarva. It pretty much sums up wildlife here on the peninsula. Looking through a 600mm lens, the owl lands right in front of me. This is over near Easton, Maryland. And I knew it had something in its mouth, and I couldn't quite tell what because I was busy trying to focus on the eyes of the bird. Looked at it a little more closely, and I believe it's a baby robin, and they raid the nest of songbirds. It's a brutal picture again, but if you're going to be a wildlife photographer, you have to photograph stuff like that. And you're very lucky to catch it when it happens. Sometimes nature can be brutal. This particular day, I thought I was going to get a rather brutal picture of a red fox catching a groundhog. And every time the groundhog stood up, the fox would pop down, and every time vice versa, the groundhog went down, the fox would pop up, and there were a lot of popping up and popping down that day. But the fox finally gave up and never ever chased the groundhog and didn't catch it, and the groundhog got away free that day. The color of light changes every day on the peninsula, sometimes minute by minute, but one of the things that's always constant is this constant battle for survival between predator and prey. When you can photograph that as a nature photographer, you're doing the best you can do.
Coming up next on Outdoors Delmarva, we'll take a look at your newest viewer photos. But first, did you know? The blue marlin prefers to feed in the warmer waters near the surface of the ocean, but has been known to dive deeper in search of squid.
Did You Know is sponsored by the Maryland Coastal Bays Program. Outdoors Delmarva will be right back. Outdoors Delmarva is sponsored by Shooter's Choice and Shorts Marine.
It's time now to share some of the photos sent in by our own Outdoors Delmarva viewers.
One of our favorite parts of the show every week. And Willie, you know, we usually get a couple of dozen emails or so, but you know, this week got a nice little real letter in the mail and an envelope full of pictures from viewer Michael LeCompte from Ocean City. I'll show you those. Michael writes here to us, Mike Parker and Captain Willie, my wife and I love your production weekly. You capture Delmarva's outdoors wonderfully. Well, it seems Michael's been capturing the outdoors pretty wonderfully himself the last couple of times it's been snowing. Here's a quick couple of shots of the Chincoteague ponies. You know, their colors really stand out here. Here's a shot of some Canada geese taking off along the Assawoman Bay near Assateague. And here's a really neat shot of an owl. The owl is a regular on the 17th hole at the Ocean City Golf Course, and he must get snow blinded because he can usually get within about 10 feet of the bird in those bright conditions.
Here's Marcus Hastings from Laurel, Delaware, pictured with a trio of red foxes taken on his family farm last month. According to Marcus, he called them in with an electronic predator call and used his 17 caliber Savage to go 3 for 3 that night.
Not bad. Elaine Woodward from Millsboro is a bird watcher, you can tell. Check out these handsome male cardinals at her backyard feeders, and those bright red colors really pop against that white snow.
And Elliot Carroll from Seaford sent in this shot of his wife Gwen and their dog Biscuit. This shot from a few months ago makes us long for that warmer weather, visiting the Italian ice stand.
Well, we love sharing your outdoor photos here on the show, so please keep them coming. Just email me at mparker@wboc.com.
Well, Mike, another week of adventures is in the books. But don't worry, we've been busy. Coming up in our next episode, we'll show you some ways to turn that old Christmas tree, or any other tree for that matter, into an irresistible bird feeder.
Sounds like fun, Willie. Can't wait to see it. Until next week, for Captain Willie Dykes, I'm Mike Parker, reminding you to get outdoors, Delmarva.